In our given example, if we see that like a person who has any kind of a person will have these details, and these details we understand that we have, for example, an employee no matter what organization he or she is working in is supposed to have a first name, a last name, a kind of an identification, and an address. These are the minimum details that are required for an employee, personal details for an employee to store. And the same can be said about a student. No matter what organization you are studying in, your organization will require to know these details about you. So if we, instead of storing these details separately in the student class and the employee class, combine these details into the person class and then extend the person class into the student class, we can save the debugging and the programming effort for this code if we have to extend it into other classes. We can also see that the person is extending an object class. An object is a built-in class, and if we do not have an explicit superclass for our given class, Java implicitly inherits the object class. It doesn't matter if we write this code or if we remove this code, syntactically it will be the same, but implicitly this class, the person class, is inheriting from the object class. And once we have these details into the person class, these can be extended by the employee class using the extends keyword, and we can see that now we have the attributes that are specific to the employee, while the common details have been inherited from the person class. And same is the case with the student class. The common details have been inherited from the person class, while the specific details, for example in this case the registration number, is declared by the student class, and other methods have been also declared that are specific to the student class. If we may, we can further extend our subclasses into the subclasses of their own. For example, in this case the faculty class is extending the employee class. What will happen is now all of the details that are stored in the person class and have been inherited by the employee class will be inherited by the faculty class along with the details of the employee class. We understand that we can go down in the hierarchy as much as we need, and we can inherit from a superclass that is a subclass of another superclass. But what we need to understand is that we cannot inherit from multiple classes at the same time. In Java, for example, if we try to do this, we will not be allowed and we will have a compiler error. So we need to keep in mind that Java does not allow multiple inheritance. If we look at the object declaration for our subclasses and superclass, the employee class has its own subclass EMP. We can call the setLastName method that is declared in the superclass of the employee class, which is the person class, and we can access that method through the object of the subclass. And the reason for this is that an object of the subclass is an object of the superclass. Similarly, we can of course create an object for the person class, which is the superclass in our example, and we can print the details of the person class, which will use the toString method to print the details of the person class. And using the object of the employee class, we can access the employee class's own methods, which should be obvious, and we can pass variables or values into those methods. And if we print the details of the employee class, we can it will print the toString method of the employee class. If we have a look at the output of what we are printing over here, we'll see that in the first case we are printing the details of the person's object, and we did not pass any values to the person object through the person object. So these variables are initialized to the default values. The employee class, on the other hand, we use the setter methods defined in the superclass to pass some values to the variables of the employee, and we also used the setter methods within the employee class to pass some values to the variables that are specific to the employee class. And we can see that using the toString method we can print the details that we passed on. Here in the toString method of the employee class, we are only printing the employee ID and the scale. In the future classes examples, we will see that we can override and access the superclass's toString method so that we can print the details from the superclasses method along with the details of the subclass. In this example, we tried to understand that we can use inheritance to reuse our code.